Right, so this is episode 8. Oh my god, what an ending. That was
Isn't that amazing?
You know, this episode, the funny thing is I was watching it, and I'm thinking, this is really good. My first thought was, I'm not as... The backstory for Kingpin is good, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of what I thought it would be, and the father kind of seemed one note. Yeah, the guy that beats the wife and says, I'll beat you too, and whatever, he's got to take access to...
He's Joe Pesci? What was that?
Kind of, yeah. But they kind of made it interesting that they made the wife kind of smart, but even then I'm kind of like, well, what's she doing with this guy? I'm not, like, I kind of want to know more about her in a sense, but especially when she just says, get the saw. I'm like, what is this woman's story?
That was right. Get the saw.
You know, that she knew obviously how to sort of get rid of the body, takes a bag a day down to the river and stuff. So I'm not saying it's like a bad character or anything, I'm saying that there's more information I think needed. But yeah, everything else about him, God, I just feel, it's so bizarre. I feel the emotion for this guy, even though he's doing these awful things. I mean, for me, this is kind of...
he beats the living shit out of his dad, spoilers, you feel every hit of that hammer.
Yeah,
like, the rage buried within that kid. You just... It's like that scene in A Christmas Story on crack, where he like beats the crap out of the bully. Only it's just ugh.
Well, and the beating of the wife was very intense, but it was.
Yeah.
And at first, I was almost like it's just getting a little exploitive, but it was. No, when you see what's building up to, you just go, yes, that's...
It's intense because of what it builds up to. It's also intense, and I think not exploitive, because it's about the reaction on the kid. It's not hovering over her, watching him
just
beat the crap out of her.
It's extreme sound.
It's the sound, and it's all focused on Fisk.
Yeah.
You know, every time she gets whacked, like, he's just like, and you can see it building within him. So there was, like, a definite purpose to it.
Yeah. And I think oh, man, I mean, so much of it is focused on that ending, but there is so much good stuff. And again, we see more of the, silence! We see more of the focus on Fisk and Wesley, which I like, and how much, and on his, Vanessa, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like...
There's this trifecta now of, you got Wesley and Fisk with the bromance, and then you've got Vanessa brought into it, which, again, the juxtaposition, because it's the trifecta just like Murdoch has. Mm-hmm. Murdoch has Foggy and
Karen, you're right.
And so it's 3 and 3 now. Mm-hmm. And this whole thing, the whole show just does this. And then there's like other little details I noticed, like watching it a second time. The way Fisk's apartment is entirely done in white steel. It's high up.
Yeah, I like
white
he doesn't
steel,
wear white, but they kind of make up for it by having it in
viewing
white.
The city versus Murdoch's apartment, whether it's just his apartment or the law office. Brick, like very like earthy kind of brick, dark, yellows, dingy, so it's like the exact opposite. It's like Fisk is up kind of in the heavens here in his ivory tower, all steel and everything, and he's down in sort of this brickish hell. Just little details like that, like I love that. And the suit, like when it comes out at the end, he's been wearing black for most of the show.
Yeah,
when he comes out at the end, now we're a gray suit.
Well,
like, he's got more
it's her
of a gray
choice.
color to him.
And what I love about that ending is that they're making it look like, well, they're going to take the chance. They're going to expose this guy somehow. It might cost them their life, but they're going to expose it. And you see him, there's this talk about you've gotten emotional and you've gotten weak and you've got, what's her name? Gao, is that her name?
Yeah, Lady Gao.
I mean, she had a wonderful scene with her.
That's
I was waiting for her to kind of like
scenes.
reveal, because I said, like, she's got to speak English or whatever. I mean, these talking scenes make no sense, and why was he even surprised?
Well, I like the other thing, they revealed two things. Like, not only does she speak English, and he speaks Chinese, and the reverse, but they both speak Japanese.
Well, what was
they
it, like,
switch? They
how many
switch,
languages? All. Like, I mean, she like speaks all.
Well,
of
she
them.
speaks like all of them. We find out now, at least knows Japanese, because he replies. She asks in Japanese, because she used the word Nihongo. Like, I started recognizing some Japanese words, and he said yay, like, and it was so. Yeah, like they both speak Japanese as well, so they're really. even smarter than we already kind of figured.
Yeah.
And know a lot.
So, but she had this great big talk about, like, you know, you've gotten emotional and you've gotten weak, you know, just restore balance to your house again in the most intimidating way an old lady like that can. And
Well, it's because she's smiling. She's so sweet and demure, but she carries herself as only like an old Chinese woman can, with that sort of like evil mother kind of like, I will whip you into shape, god damn it.
She carries this very strong confidence, but also authority.
Yeah.
And she's
like an old, you know what she is? She's like those old ballet instructors. Like, you just want to see her with like a ruler or something like...
Yeah, and I was kind of waiting for her. I was waiting for more of her because I just saw her and she always looked so confident. Like, I want to know more about her. So I'm glad she has this scene. She found out where he is and stuff like that. And when she's leaving and he flips the table, I could just feel his frustration, like big time. Like, it's one of those things where, and the music and everything.
She's the only one that intimidates him. He's not intimidated by Nobu.
She intimidates me!
Yeah. He's not intimidated by Nobu or Leland or the Russians or, you know, even the man in the mask still kind of feels like nebulous and out there. Like, when she shows up, like, that is the first time where it's like, okay, he is really intimidated by this short little Chinese woman.
Well, and she talks to him like a parent. And I think, obviously, with that backstory...
Get your house in order!
Yeah, but, I mean, she talks to him like a parent, you know, that... is trying to be helpful, but, you know, can...
Threatening.
Like, it's still the parent, and really, if any parent wanted to, could just crush you. I mean, no kid ever forgets
like,
that.
Her version of punishment is not going to be go to your room or you're grounded. It's going to be, I'm going to deal with other people, and you're probably going to be out of the picture.
Yeah, I think with most parents, I mean, for every kid, there's this idea of, you know, you love your parents and everything, but... Every kid is going to mess up and needs to be punished by a parent, and you never forget there's that authority and
there
is
that even with the best of parents, there's always that little bit of terror in the back of your head. Like, even if your parents are super nice and hippie, there's always some point where you feel like you could push your parents too far, and that's going to be bad.
Well, and yeah, that's a part of the kid realizing it's like, oh, I can't get away with everything, you know, every kid has to go through.
Unless maybe you're truly a troubled psycho child and you're like, I do what I want, but, you know.
Yeah, no, you have to, as part of the learning process. Yeah, as part of the learning process, you find out about, you know, everything is that, you know, there are limits that anyone, you know, can be pushed, including yourself.
The scene afterwards with, because when Wesley comes in, and that rage when he shouts, you know, leave me alone or whatever it was. Yeah, I was like, get out! Like, I'm just like, fuck. And again, because of that great scene with the Russian earlier, we know what he's capable of. Like, at any point, he could snap on anybody. Like, thankfully, he's friends with Wesley and stuff, but you saw that rage come out there for a second. Like, man, if Wesley kept pushing, he may have been on the, you know, receiving end of a good couple of blows.
Well, and he's, you know, that scene, you feel so exposed watching it. When she's just, and it's like, because
she invaded his house.
She invaded his house. No, on top of that, it says you have gotten emotional and weak, which are two things. You know, I mean,
are true.
Are true, but you don't think, right. But you don't think are like that obvious to sort of like.
He's trying to keep it hidden.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously someone who keeps very much everything in control and everything hidden. So just to become that exposed and in your own house, in your place where you are safe, you know, is just. I really felt kind of the terror of that scene and that insecurity. And when he flips the table, I'm like. God, if I was, whatever, a fucking psychopath writing all this and stuff like that, I'd do the same thing. I would just feel so exposed. And I thought that was just so well handled. But then to have all of that come around to, you know, her coming in, Vanessa coming in, and you don't know, it's like, is this a good thing or a bad thing for him? Is she playing more into the weakness or trying to play into a strength than you think, while those wonderful words are being written by that reporter... and not just about the guy, but about, you know, exposing the truth. I mean, everything about this was about exposing. It was just a very exposed, focused episode.
And then the other scary thing is, again, she's okay with it.
Yeah.
You're not a monster, and I'm like, well, I would think the truth
she herself, I mean, but she obviously wants control of him as well. You know, to sort of figure this out. But
it's like it's like there's something kind of almost mothering about her, like she's another mother figure. Like, almost taking care of him, but it's like a perverse mother figure.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I get more control over it. I mean, I'm sure there is this level of, like, caring, but
I don't know where they're going.
She's clearly not all there.
Oh, no. You didn't let me finish. I don't know if it's pure controlling. I think, like, when I say mother figure, that's what I was saying. It's like a perverse mother figure, though.
Mm.
Because, like, a proper mother figure would, like, take care of you and be like, it'll be okay and this and that, but you need to do the right thing. Whereas she's like, I want to take care of you, I'm going to help you along, you know, do what you need to overcome this, but, yeah, I'm totally okay with all these horrible things you're doing, because she has to know by now.
See, I didn't get as much, I'm going to take care of you because I love you. I was at the look on her face there, she still had a little bit of a smirk. It was more like, you know, oh, Goofy, come on, get yourself back together. We're going to, you know, I'm going to get you out of this.
I don't know.
We go.
I don't know yet. I think the picking the suit and the way they show the backstory in this one with the mother helping out with disposing the body,
Mm-hmm.
and the way she probably has a dark side, she's getting rid of bodies and doing this, and like, I don't know, I see like there's a connection there. Like, everything in this show
there
is
a connection.
connected. But I'm not saying, I don't think it's just control, like, I'm in this just for Fisk's money. She seems to be living a good life. You know, what, she wants more money? Like,
No, but I think she
honestly cares for him, but she's just messed up.
You know what I see when I see her with him? I see her getting like a little bit of a thrill being with him.
I think there's a thrill as well.
But I don't think.
But I don't think that's a
parents
control
do.
thing. But I don't think that's a control thing. Like, she's just doing it. I just want control.
No, but I mean, like, I guess I don't see it as much as like a parent thing either. Like, sometimes she has to be like the parent, but it seems more like,
I think it's like a twisted parent. I think there's something. She's like, here's like somebody who's obviously broken, and I can fix them. Like, but. Like, in my own twisted image, though. Like, not like a.
You know what? That is so much fun about. I think about her character. It's like, yeah, we can't quite.
Yeah. Well, I will say
figure
this.
her out.
I can't say for sure. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying I know or that. No, it's clearly this. Like, I'm not entirely sure. That's part of the fun of the character.
With the flashbacks and everything, that's kind of what I'm reading into it. But who the hell knows? Like, you never know for sure.
Well, and with that, like I said, with that ending going on where she's picking the suits and getting the new cufflinks, you think, like, he's possibly becoming quote-unquote weaker because he's letting himself become more vulnerable and stuff, you know, to her, and becoming emotional, and he's in love and stuff, even though Gao just said this is not what you do. And then these words being written about to expose this guy, and then for him to come out, say, expose himself. I mean, and just who the hell would come out if you're running these things and just to the world expose who you are, have this big anti-drug thing, just expose like your cohorts and everything, and just be like, you know, I'm nervous about this, but I'm standing up and I'm gonna say this, and you just see, oh my god, this was all part of just going the exact opposite direction with this.
It ties into the theme though, because in the beginning, you know, like, I forget if it was this episode or the previous episode, but, you know, Karen says straight up, you know, I need to do this. And yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared as hell, but I'm not going to let these bastards get away with it, which is something I like, is that the characters who get beat upon, who would normally be your kind of useless secondary characters who are just there to get rescued by the superhero or whatever, they keep taking a beating, but they keep coming back, and they're just like, no, I'm going to do this. And you want to know why? Because I am scared, and I'm going to face that fear. And Fisk perversely does the same thing. He doesn't want to be in public. He doesn't want his name out there. He's doing the same thing that Karen and Murdoch and Foggy are doing, facing their fear. Now he's doing it, and it ends up screwing up Murdoch's plan.
Well, you know, I'm glad you reminded me of that scene, because I really like when she says, you know, I know I'm terrified, I am so scared, but I'm gonna face it, I'm gonna stand up, this is what I have to do. And I really do judge. I mean, one of my favorite heroes is Mrs. Brisby from Secret of Nim, and some people could be like, well, all she does is hide and cover her head and is afraid of stuff, but that's exactly why, because she
took out a fucking plow.
Because she is afraid, she is terrified of all this stuff, but she goes and does it anyway, and she is facing that fears, and it's, I think when you can see,
what
like,
heroes do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's how real do you make the fear, and how much can you feel it, and the environment you're going up against. And for
she's gotten like strangled. She's gotten like she's taken multiple beatings, and she's still like, they're not going to silence me.
A lot of these characters have.
I mean, really. Most of the characters, the good characters, just take multiple beatings, and they still get up and are just like, you know what? Is it going to take more than that to stop me?
Yeah, and I think, there's something you can see a hero, this is why something like, I don't even know, Transformers is an easy target, Optimus Prime going up against all these robots and stuff, he's the mega big hero, he has a big sword on his blade and blah blah, he's not afraid of anything. And if there is no fear whatsoever, I'm not concerned about what he's going up against because you haven't established that there's anything to be lost emotionally with the character. And that's why characters like Mrs. Frisbee and the characters in this, you do get behind and you are inspired by because everyone feels fear and they have to confront it and they have to figure out what to do with it and how to come at it, when to hide, when to go forward, when to do all this stuff. And it's just a brainless maniac who goes in killing people saying, it's like, unless you're doing it kind of for comedy, there's nothing to the character. Well, they're not interesting.
And it all connects together because that also is the recurring theme with this, with Murdoch's father, is you keep taking a beating and you keep getting up. And the thing about Murdoch's father is that was the other juxtaposition I love in this show is seeing Fisk's dad. Like, I know you're like, well, it's kind of what I expected, this and that. But it works perfectly because you saw Murdoch's dad. Mm. These two are father figures of a similar type. They're brawny, they're strong, they don't seem particularly bright. They're mostly physical types. And one instills important life lessons in his kid, and that's Murdoch. And the other does not, and that's Fisk.
Yeah, he has fear. He pounds in fear.
And both of them, if you think about it, feel responsible. Well, in one case, in Fisk's case, he literally is responsible. Murdoch feels responsible for his father's death because they asked him to lose it. And the way in which both of them die is the exact flip opposite. Murdoch is used to taking a constant beating, and losing. And the one time he decides to fight to win, to actually stand up to win, that's what gets him killed. Fisk, on the other hand, the old man Fisk basically is constantly, at least physically, winning. He's beating the crap out of the other guy. He's beating the crap out of his wife. He's berating his kid, and the one time, basically Little Fisk stands up and just totally takes him out. So he goes down. So one rose up, and goes down. The other is always up high, king of the world, he thinks, or at least in his own mind, and then he's brought down.
Well, and now, of course, him looking at the painting that he bought and how it looks exactly like
and the cufflinks, and now it all makes sense.
Well, no, but the painting especially, how he would wake up and that's the first thing he sees, and even the first time you see him in the show, you see him looking at that painting, he is, at first you just think he sees something, whatever, you just draw your own conclusion, but then we see how much the wall they looked at before he fucking killed his father.
You think it's just going to be some artsy thing, like, and he just looks at a white painting because it represents something and we're never going to explain it, and they actually do in a way that it doesn't...
I would have been fine with, honestly.
I would have been fine with it, but this way actually did it, and it honestly didn't feel like a cop-out to me. I'm like, okay, this all connected together really nicely. Like, this is how you write a good story. I think the only other little thing I noticed was, I like the way, just going back to the two different fathers and how they react to things. If you remember, and this is because I've seen it twice now, but Murdoch's dad gives him, some scotch to steady his hands, and he drinks it, it burns, and the dad just kind of sloughs it off and laughs a little, and it's like, whatever, like, stay in school, kid, this
way, demands him to drink it.
Drink it, and when he doesn't spits it out, he just berates him. Ah, come on, that's funny. It's hilarious. My kid's a freaking idiot. And again, just two similar scenes. A boy's first drink, offered from his dad, and one just perfectly comes off as natural and and it's okay, and the other just is such a douchebag.
Yeah, making fun of him and stuff.
So again, the juxtaposition. It's like you now see these two characters and how they're both exactly the same and polar opposites.
You and I are very similar.
Which is, yes, but
which is I hate that line because it doesn't need to be said, but
no, it doesn't need to be said because the show writes it well enough without it being said. But it's a common comic book trope and a common trope in a ton of things. But this is one of the best executions of it I've ever seen.
It really is, because it takes its time to show it as well, and again, that is the advantage of having it as a show.
It's almost biblical. It it's like this satanic kind of argument and this duality. It's really what it should be when comics are at their best.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say, I'll make a little bit of a comparison here. A lot of people have asked what I think of Breaking Bad, and I know this is a different show. And my big argument is for the first 2 seasons, while it's a good show, I don't like any of the characters. I just find them so unlikable, and that's kind of the point. But I will say with Walter White, I think the Kingpin here is kind of what I wanted to see with Walter White, where he is despicable and he is doing these awful things, but at the same time there is just this real emotion, this real understanding of his mental state. And I'm not saying that Breaking Bad didn't do that. It did show what he was going through, but I did not feel as much for him. The way he sort of came to these conclusions makes more sense with the Kingpin than it does with Walter White. And that's part of the Walter White character. He's just supposed to kind of be nuts. But I understand this insanity much more than Walter White's insanity. And it's still a good show. He hasn't seen it, so...
I've only seen season 1, and I liked it a lot. One of these days, I'm going to binge watch all of them. I still haven't
you see what I'm talking... And again, with Walter White, that's kind of the idea that he is nuts, and he will almost have the split personality, but...
I know the argument you're making. It would be unfair of me to just say I blanketly agree with that comparison if I haven't seen it. So I'm not going to do it. But I know what you're saying, because in other shows I've seen similar things. There is a humanity to Fisk, and that's always the thing. I find villains who are human more scary than just, I'm just a monster and this and that. Not scary to me. It's the ones that are human because you always want to try to rationalize with the human side, and at any second that can snap.
Yeah.
And it's just thrown out the door.
Like real life, really.
Yeah. and you're just on the other side of a gun now going, I can't believe, that's what most murders are committed by people you know.
Yeah. Oh, I never knew it was that person.
Yeah. 63% chance or something crazy that if you were to get murdered, it would be somebody you know. And there's a great line, I think it was 8mm, where they're talking about, the thing that gets me most is it's the surprise. And that's when you have a human character kill something, there's more of a surprise. When you say, oh, they're a monster, this and that. There's no surprise to it, but when a human does it, it's truly scary.
Yeah.
Because you always think, I can rationalize my way out, or maybe I can do this. It's but if you just lose that human side in those brief instances, like with Fisk, it's tried to cozy up to him, tried to be his friend, still get your head taken off.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate real fast too. I like Breaking Bad, and Walter White is a great examination of a character. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. I just could not relate with him like I relate with a character like the Kingpin. So
no comment.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's just complimenting just what a great character it is, and just when you think it's going one direction, man, are they good at throwing a nice little spin on it.
I thought at the end of this I had it figured out. I'm like,
yeah, me too.
I'm like, okay, now it's gonna be Kingpin's revenge because he's been outed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. Where are we going now? I was did not see that one coming.
And it makes you appreciate not only the storytelling, but the characters, that they thought of this, and that it's you thought you knew this guy, you thought you knew more about this guy, but they keep throwing these surprises at you, and they're understandable and they're relatable.
For the most part, they're all smart. They're not bleeding idiots. Honestly, I think the Russians seemed kind of dumb, and then probably the 2 biggest idiots, just for lack of just actual smarts, is probably just the 2 dads so far. Most everybody is pretty scheming, pretty conniving. Even Karen and Foggy, they're using their brains.
Well, who's the Patch Adams guy? He's getting a little dumb, but he's still staying in the game okay.
Oh, Leland?
Yeah.
I don't think he's dumb.
He's just emotional.
I think he's playing all sides, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's just a complainer. I just see complainers.
But yeah, these characters aren't dumb, and it makes them more interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. But they still have faults. They're still interesting. And they're still human and relatable. So yeah. Love it, man. Can't wait to see what we got, 5 left, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see where it's going, and we'll see you at the next one. Later.